If you've ever gone with your gut to make a choice or felt butterflies in your belly when you're feeling anxious, you're probably getting signals from an unexpected place in your body, a second brain that actually lives inside your stomach. Hidden in the walls of your digestive system, brain cells and brain chemicals not only help you to digest your food, but also play an important role in managing your mental health. And as surprising as this might sound, key to good mental health is maintaining the right balance of bacteria in your belly. But how do you do that? Welcome to episode 17 of Better Brain, Better You, where we're cultivating healthy brains and building better mental health at every stage of life. I'm your host, Dr. Ben Webb. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. How are you doing? I hope you're taking really good care of yourself and those around you. Really glad to have you with us. So, not that long to go now until the Christmas festivities. That period of the year when we typically gorge ourselves on copious amounts of food and drink. And we've talked on the podcast before about the importance of nutrition for brain and mental health. But today I want to talk about how the food you eat and the health of your gut actually affects your mental health. And particularly the role of a whole food diet versus psychobiotic food products. So that's the idea of introducing live bacteria into your gut to rebalance your gut microbiome to improve your mental health. So there are many changes you can actually make to your diet that you can make right now to improve the health of your gut, and then in turn to improve the health of your brain to boost your mental health. So with that in mind, I want to give you a free guide on 12 of the best foods for your brain and how to introduce them into your cooking. You can get this free guide at ologyonlinecourses.com/brain foods. That's ologyonlinecourses.com/brain foods. So I'll make sure to pin the link in the comments below if you're watching on YouTube. So your gut might not be an obvious place to look for help with your mental health, but the fact you even have the sensation of a gut feeling or butterflies in your belly suggests that your brain and gut are connected to each other. And it's thought that there are as many bacteria living in you as there are human cells in your body. So these lodges in your gut metabolize the food and drink you consume, eking out extra nutrients for your body. But the diversity of these bacteria and the way they interact can affect the messages that are sent to your brain via the nerves and chemical pathways in your digestive system. And any nutritional deficiencies in your diet that lead to a drop in the diversity of your gut bacteria population can have a negative impact on your mental well-being. So you really need to treasure these microbes living in the depths of your bowels, because if they're happy, you're happy. So this seemingly slightly crazy sounding idea that what happens in your intestines affects your mood has actually now got a lot of scientific backing. Now it's become clear that it's your gut bacteria that are doing the communicating with your brain and affecting your state of mind. Not only that, but scientists are showing that altering your gut bacteria with live bacterial supplements called probiotics and dietary fiber supplements that encourage bacterial growth called prebiotics, you can actually improve stress, reduce anxiety, and mitigate the effects of other mental health problems. So these findings are giving rise to a whole new class of medicines called psychobiotics. The hope is that they will eventually provide powerful new treatments for depression and other mental health conditions, as well as helping us to deal with everyday stress and anxiety. So last year, a large review of studies found that probiotics produced a small but consistent reduction in anxiety and depression. And other work has showed that introducing probiotics into the guts of healthy volunteers reduces their feelings of stress. So whilst this might sound like the province of alternative medicine, scientists have long known that mental health problems like anxiety and depression are often associated with gut problems like inflammation. So for example, anxiety and depression correlate with the presence or absence of certain patterns of microbes in the gut. So an analysis of more than 1,000 people in Belgium and Holland found that the presence of some types of gut bacteria was consistently associated with higher quality of life, while their absence was consistently associated with depression. So researchers are also focusing on developing probiotics and prebiotics as potential treatments for mental health problems. And the evidence suggests that doctors will one day be recommending such supplements to fill gut microbe deficiencies that may be contributing to their patients' mental health issues. So we might well see a scenario where probiotics or prebiotics will be recommended for people with milder forms of depression or anxiety. However, we don't yet have the clinical trials evidence to make those recommendations, but it will very likely happen in the future. And some of the most exciting potential lies in conditions for which treatment is currently difficult, ineffective, or actually brings unpleasant side effects. So there's some research indicating that microbe transplants might actually be of use for people with autism spectrum disorders. So researchers have reported that by treating the gastrointestinal problems of children with autism with a transplant of microbes from a healthy donor, they also brought about improvements in language, skills, social interaction, and behaviour. So in the battle against depression, which is triggered by a complex mix of genetic and environmental factors, probiotic could also be another weapon. The evidence so far is that some of these probiotics might do just as well as the more commonly prescribed antidepressants, some of which can actually have unpleasant side effects. So there may also be a role for probiotics and prebiotics in promoting longer-term mental health, even if someone has had a previous mental health episode. So for example, giving probiotics to people discharged from hospital following a manic phase of bipolar disorder significantly reduces their chances of being re-hospitalized. However, I think we're unlikely to see any of these treatments very soon. One problem is that there are currently no dose studies showing how much of a probiotic you have to take to make a difference. Another problem is that every person's microbiome is actually different. So that means that one standard treatment, which is typically the case with a clinical trial treatment, won't work on everybody. So we may well end up needing personalised probiotics, which would be very expensive to actually produce. So people also seem to be becoming wary around some of the hype that has surrounded probiotic and prebiotic food products, with companies claiming that sugary products with added bacteria improve gut health and boost your immune system, which has often not been backed up by any good science. The danger now is that the genuine promise of psychobiotics may actually be underestimated. And unfortunately, regulation of the food industry has been very lax in the past. So people have been able to make a lot of claims without very good scientific data. Fortunately, that seems to be changing now. But waiting for new psychobiotic treatments may be overlooking the single most important lesson from this research, that it's actually our diet that has a crucial effect on our mental health. Psychiatrists, neuroscientists, and dietitians have for years been saying that changing our eating habits can actually make us feel happier, or at least help keep us on an even motion keel. So there's no question that a poor diet is associated with poor mental health. People with severe forms of depression who are not responding to antidepressants can hugely benefit from just changing their diet in association with using those antidepressants. So dietary diversity is actually the key. The reason that probiotics work as treatments is that they fill a gap in your gut microbiome that disrupts its normal functioning. There's enough evidence to suggest that a wide-ranging diet results in a microbiome full of different types of bacteria, and that's what leads to better mental health. So a diversity of plant-based food is particularly important. And because of the rise of processed food, most of us have many fewer different types of gut microbes than our grandparents and great-grandparents. So we're missing microbes in our bellies. That might mean we're dealing with stress and mental health challenges less effectively. So the first thing to do before thinking about probiotics is to actually improve your diet. One of the reasons we're getting so much depression and anxiety in the world is because of our very poor diet and our high rate of eating processed food. There are many changes you can make to your diet that you can make right now to improve the health of your gut and in turn your brain to boost your mood and your mental health. So with that in mind, I want to give you a free guide on 12 of the best foods for your brain and how to introduce them into your cooking. You can get the free guide at ologyonlinecourses.com/brain foods. That's ologyonlinecourses.com/brain foods. If you're watching on YouTube, I'll make sure that I pin the link in the comments below. So I hope you found this discussion useful. Thanks so much for tuning in today. And if you did find it useful, please do leave me a review wherever you consume your podcast. It really helps to spread the word so more people can tune into the podcast. Thanks again, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next episode.